All right, we're back on the Morning Brew. We're live downtown today, and I'm Larry Ahrens, along with co-host Amber Hendren. A real pleasure to welcome the ladies from NAWBO here, the National Association of Women Business Owners. And we have with us today Kay Carrico, who is CEO of Encompass International. Did I pronounce it right?
That's correct, thank you.
And also with us today from NAWBO is, I'm going to get all this right, Joanna Engstrom,
Yes.
Vice President Business Development for RITEC. RITEC
Global.
Global. Both are
Correct.
global businesses. Very
Yes.
interesting. Welcome
Yes,
to both
indeed.
of you.
Thank you.
Yes.
So this is an effort called Go Global
With NAWBO.
with NAWBO.
Right.
Okay. All right, we're in trouble here. Okay,
I like it.
Take it from there.
Get it right, Liz.
Yeah, I'm working
I
on
like
it.
Well, this is great because it's just all about growing your business, not just here, not just locally or here in the state or nationally, but internationally.
Correct.
And it opens your mind to how we can reach these global markets and kind of work together and fuel our companies.
Correct. Without international business, there is no business. The world is now global.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And in order to really increase revenues, especially for a small business, I know small businesses are very afraid to go international because it's
Yes.
daunting sometimes, but there are ways to do it successfully even for small business. And in our case, we are in Japan, in Hong Kong, in Australia, and personally I've done international global business all my career in Albuquerque, New Mexico,
Yeah.
Incredible.
which is very exciting. So,
Well, and even businesses are global or they're competing internationally, even if they're just here, because
Sure.
their
Yes.
competition is no longer American competition, it's international
One of
competition
the
as
unique
well.
things I noticed, a lot of successful businesses operate here,
Yes.
but don't do much business here in New Mexico. They're everywhere else,
correct.
around the country and around the world.
Absolutely. In fact, in our case, all of our customers are outside of the state, so we are a net importer of revenue in the state.
Yeah.
No customers
In
in
the
New
way you
Mexico.
are, you're right.
Correct.
And RITEC is a defense.
It's a defense aerospace,
Aerospace.
technology company. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you're putting on an event on the 21st, and it's
Right.
to facilitate this whole knowledge base about going global.
Well, what Go Global is about, and this is the second year that we've done this, and it's May is World Trade Month, so that's why we chose May to have this event. And we present all the public sector and private sector resources, because public sector does some things good and
Yeah.
private sector does some things good. So, but our format is different in that there are no PowerPoint presentations. Each public sector person has 10 minutes to talk about one or two of their services that they provide and then give examples of how they've helped companies do that. So nobody's overwhelmed by the amount of information that, that maybe the federal government or the state or the city can do to help exporting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So if people go to this, they're going to hear from the principals themselves, and they're going to hear just raw facts and data on
Exactly.
what's going on.
Well, again, that'll be part of it. Then we have a keynote speaker who's actually has a business in Luxembourg, and another woman business owner, and she works with large companies and small companies, but her main clients are Bosch and pharmaceutical companies. So she's going to be the keynote speaker and also be on the panel with Joanna and I, and then another young woman.
Very
Nice.
interesting.
So what are some of the topics you'll be covering?
We're going to be targeting primarily Europe, and even though there's the European Union with 27 countries,
Right.
each country's different. So you can't say one size fits all when you're going into any international market. And I sort of liken it to when I'm from Michigan, so when I drive back to Michigan, every region is different, and you don't realize that till you get through Texas, Oklahoma, et cetera.
Sure.
And so it's the same way with other countries too. So each market has to have its own special way that you attack that market or approach that market.
I think in EU, the tying theme now are the regulatory requirements and so forth. But unlike US, when you go from country to country, you also have the completely different language, completely different expectations, even today, as global as we are. The French would really like it if you speak a little bit of French.
Right,
You know, the
right.
Germans would do too. And so,
Yes.
in general, it's nice to be prepared with what those cultures' expectations are when you go international. So we will talk a lot about examples of. I've done business in Japan, for instance, and as a
Yes.
woman in
Very
Japan,
different.
very different, and you have to really become flexible and understand that you cannot go into a country and just I'm going to do business and walk out. You have to create a relationship, and international business is all about creating relationships. I can tell you it's exciting because I still have friends all over the world that I built through business.
Right.
It's very solid. In the States, we can pick up the phone, call a customer. You can actually make huge transactions on the telephone, never have seen the customer in your life. Never possible internationally.
They want to see you.
They want to see you, they
wanna
want
talk
to
to
break
you.
bread with you and drink whatever they drink in their country with you.
Right.
And really feel you, because if the product or technology are good, if the price is relatively the same, who they want to do business with is somebody
Right.
they like. They want
That
to see
sounds
you
like
again.
New Mexico too.
Yeah, it does.
Exactly.
I mean,
Very
we're still
much so.
Mexico. We're just a little newer.
Exactly.
Here, you know.
Exactly.
But, and I know when you do business with Mexico,
Yes.
and you work with the Latin community,
Yes.
it's you have to eat, and you never bring up business.
Business.
Not at all.
Exactly.
You just kind of wait to see if they're going to bring it up, and
Yes. Yeah.
and then they do.
Exactly.
But you talk about family, you talk about
Yes.
all the good things, your mother, your kids, all the
Yes.
good things.
Yes.
And you eat and you
Exactly.
enjoy each other, and
That's
then
really
if they like you, then they'll buy something from you.
But that's not true with every country, though.
Yeah.
Right, no, exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's
But
what's
then,
interesting about it.
that's Mexico, and then what do we do, like in Japan, for instance? What would be
Mm-hmm.
your, how are they different?
Well, actually, when I was in Japan, it was very much the same. 3 days I tried to approach business with this distributor we had, and he refused to speak business. I would ask him a business question, and he would say, the cherry blossoms are on.
Yeah.
Let's go to Kyoto.
He wasn't ready.
He was not ready, and it was over a sake and...
Karaoke?
And no karaoke.
that came a little
I
later.
bet Ioana wouldn't be afraid of a little yolk.
A very beautiful private chef's dinner when they had a cherry blossom on the plate, and
Very nice.
I picked it up and I put it behind my ear, and I looked at this older gentleman and said, Ido-san, you are my samurai, and as a samurai, you're not afraid to talk business with me, right? And that was it. We started to talk.
That
The
broke
right
the ice
guy.
right there.
And this was after a few glasses of sake, of course.
Did he like that?
He loved it. He became my samurai.
You are my samurai.
You're my
Oh,
samurai.
really? Tell us
Hey, you
more.
just try everything you can,
This
and
is
we
getting
did
good.
business. It was very good.
From the other perspective, too, I have a cousin who was a woman CEO in
Yes.
Copenhagen, Denmark, and they thought nothing of getting on a plane and going to other countries in the area. I mean, it's no big deal to them
Absolutely.
to just hop over to Sweden or to the UK and take care of business. Here in the U.S., we kind of, because this is such a big market, we kind of think that we run the show, and that's not always the case. Am I
But
right?
geographically, when you think of,
Yeah.
so I'm from Michigan, so from the two farthest points,
Right.
from the Upper Peninsula to the southeastern part of Michigan, that's about the size of the UK. And
Yeah.
so when you put it in that perspective,
It
of course
is.
they have to,
They have to
go
you're
across the
right.
pond or,
Yeah.
cross a border to get to their,
'Cause the markets are out there.
Yeah.
and
Indeed.
it's geographically it's so much smaller than our.
Is there a market that you're trying to break into still that you haven't quite?
You mean as right tech?
Mm-hmm.
So in our case, it's a little bit interesting because in defense, we have a technology that in some instances is restricted, ITAR restricted, which is the International Trade Arms Agreement. And so we cannot export certain things
Sure.
because they're very, they're protected by U.S. defense.
Dual use.
Well, sometimes it's dual
Right.
use, but we're lucky that we are coming up with some more commercial products, and so for those, yes, we are going to try to Latin America would probably be a market
Yeah.
we want to get into.
Very
Yep.
interesting. May 21st, 2 to 5 p.m., and there's tapas.
Tapas from around the world. So
Love
we're
it.
not going to just stick with European
That's
food.
good.
We're going to have, we're going to expand our
I like it.
horizons and
Oh,
have
that's
tapas
good.
from around the whole world.
How exotic. How wonderful. That sounds fun.
So the connecting point here is what? How do you have to sign up, pre-register, and all
Yes, go on to NAWBO website, which
Okay.
is www.nawbonm.org.
that, right? Okay.
Yeah.
May 21st.
May 21st
From
from
2 to
5, and then the networking starts at 5:30. And we also are having a role-playing portion where, we really take you through talking to another,
Oh, that's
possibly a representative, and just, I'm usually play the person, the American who makes the mistakes,
Yes.
but I redeem myself in the end, so it works out.
How fun. Well, it sounds like y'all are having way too much fun.
We are.
Two very sharp businesswomen with us today, Kate Carrico and Ivana Engstrom, both from NAWBO, on our program today. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you
for
very
having
much.
us.
Morning Brew continues in just a moment.
You're my samurai, Larry.